Jayo, Jayo, Gaura, Chande, Arati Kosho. Janaditadavane Jagamanaloba Takinanitai Chan Vamekatadara Nikate Advaita Srini Vasachakradara Bosiya Che Gaura Cham Ratna Sinhasana Arati Kaurana Brahma Adi Devagane di koi Chamaradulaya Sanjaya Mukunda Bashu Koshadikaya Santa Baje Kanta Baje Baje Karatala Madhura Mridanga Bhajan Paramarasala Sangha Bhajan Kanta Bhajan Madhur 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 Bhajan Chandrajini Vadana Utpala Galadeshe Banamala Kore Jalamala Shiva Sukha Narada Brahma Gadagada Bhaktivedanta Coração paga Jaya Jaya Gaura Chande Arati Kosho Jana Vitata Vane Jagamana Lova Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Dashatarine Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shiva Sadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Chaitanya Nityananda Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shiva Sadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shiva Sadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Chaitanya Nityananda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jayo Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman Jayo Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman Jayo Gauranitai 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 Jayo Jayo Prabhupada 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 Srila Prabhupada
Namaste Narasimhaya.
Namaste Narasimhaya
Namaste Narasimhaya. Hiranyakashipu Vakshaha Shilatankana Kalaye Ito Nrsimha Parato Nrsimho Yato Yato Yamitato Nrsimha Bahi Nrsimho Hitahi Nrsimho Narasimhavadim Sharanam Prapadye Savakara Kamalavarayinakam Advuta Shringam Lalita Hiranyakashipu Sadhubringam Keshavajita Narahari Rupa Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Shri Nrsimhadev Bhagavan Ki Jai, Prahlad Maharaj Ki Jai.
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradari Jaya Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradari Yashodanandana Vrajatanaranjana Yashodanandana Vrajatanaranjana Yamuna Tiravanachari Yamuna Tiravanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunda Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunda Vihari Hari Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jayo Radha Gokulananda, Radha Gokulananda, Radha Gokulananda, Sri Radha. Jayo Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman, Jayo Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman. Jayo Gauranitai, 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 Jayo Gauranitai. Prabhupada, 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 Jayo Jayo Prabhupada. Jayam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajagacharya Ashtadarshat Shishimat, His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki. Jayam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajagacharya Ashtadarshat Shishimat, His Divine Grace Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada Ki. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki. Prem se kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki. Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shyama Kund Radha Kund Giri Govardhan Ki, Vrindavan Dham Ki, Mayapur Dham Ki, Jagannath Kshetra Dham Ki, Ganga Mai Ki, Yamuna Mai Ki, Tulsi Maharani Ki, Harinam Sankirtan Yagya Ki, Samaveda Bhakta Vrinda Ki. All glories to assembled devotees, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much for coming, everyone. And also for those joining online, thank you very much for joining. I request your blessings that I can speak according to the Shastra and for our benefit and purification. So today we are reading from Bhagavad Gita chapter 4, verse 39. If you could try to find this verse. I think I have internet issues. It's not uploading. Okay, no problem. Yeah, did you find the verse? Okay. So, Shradava labate jnanam tat parasam yatendriya jnanam labdva param shantim achirena digachati. If you could repeat, please. Shradava labate jnanam tat parasam yatendriya Jnanam labdva param shantim achirena digachati. Shradava labate jnanam tat parasam yatendriya Jnanam labdva param shantim achirena digachati. Thank you. Anyone would like to recite, Prabhu? Shadavala bhate jnanam tat parasam yatendriya Jnanam labdva param shantim achirena digachati. Gita, would you like to try? Very good. Shradava labate jnanam tat parasam yatendriya jnanam labdva param shantim achirena digachati. Thank you very much. Avi, would you like to try? Shradava labate jnanam tat parasam yatendriya jnanam labdva param shantim achirena digachati. Okay, word for word translation. Shradhavan, a faithful man. Labate, achieves. Jnanam, knowledge. Tatpara, very much attached to it. Samyata, controlled. Indriya, senses. Jnanam, knowledge. Labdva, having achieved. Param, transcendental. Shantim, peace. Achirena, very soon. Adigachati, attains. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. A faithful man who is dedicated to transcendental knowledge and who subdues his senses is eligible to achieve such knowledge, and having achieved it, he quickly attains the supreme spiritual peace. If you could please repeat. A faithful man who is dedicated to transcendental knowledge and who subdues his senses is eligible to achieve such knowledge. And having achieved it, he quickly attains the supreme spiritual peace. Purport. Such knowledge in Krishna consciousness can be achieved by a faithful person who believes firmly in Krishna. One is called a faithful man who thinks that simply by acting in Krishna consciousness he can attain the highest perfection. This faith is attained by the discharge of devotional service and by chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, which cleanses one's heart of all material dirt. Over and above this, one should control the senses. A person who is faithful to Krishna and who controls the senses can easily attain perfection in the knowledge of Krishna consciousness without delay. Om Agyanatimirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruvei Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Svayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Svapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Utapadakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitamscha Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. One more time, thank you for coming, and I hope we can discuss something today together. So, yeah, here in the translation, Krishna speaks about how can we attain this supreme knowledge, this transcendental knowledge. So, does anyone know what is transcendental knowledge? Transcend means transcend, go beyond something, go beyond this material world. So this transcendental knowledge is the knowledge which goes beyond the material world. And this is the knowledge about who am I really? What is my real identity? Who is Krishna? And what is my relationship with God? And so this is very supreme knowledge. To have such knowledge, it requires a lot of effort. And here Krishna says one has to be faithful man. So actually, what does it mean to be faithful? Faith is described in the dictionary. The definition of faith is described as complete trust or confidence in someone or something. So complete trust, no doubts. You have complete trust in someone, that you have no doubts that you can trust this person, or you can have complete conviction that this person will not disappoint you, or will not let you down. That's the word. Yeah, thank you. And in Chaitanya Charitamrita, faith is described as Shraddha, which means faith, is confident, firm faith that by rendering transcendental loving service to Krishna, one automatically performs all subsidiary activities. Such faith is favorable to the discharge of devotional service. So confident, firm faith that just by rendering service to Krishna, everything else will be done. So isn't that amazing that, it can be compared to watering roots of the tree. That we know, we have this conviction that or the plant, I know that I just have to water the roots of this tree, and I know that the leaves and the branches will be nourished and the flowers will blossom after some time. I don't have to separately water the leaves and the branches. I just have to focus on the roots. So similarly, we just have to, in our performance of devotional service in our lives, if we do devotional service, if we render service to Krishna, everything else in our lives will be taken care of. And Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Sarva dharma parityaja mam ekam sharanam vraja. Aham tvam sarva papabhyo mokshayishami mashucha. So abandon all varieties of religion and just surrender unto me. And I will take care of everything. I will relieve you from all sin. And he says, don't worry, do not fear. So this is what Krishna is telling us, that we don't have to fear, we don't have to worry about anything. But is it easy or is it difficult? Isn't it sometimes, how much faith are we giving to this process, to the devotional service? And how much faith sometimes we are trying in so many ways. We have some material problem. And we're trying to look for so many solutions in the internet. We're calling this person, that person. And, we're on the phone for half a day trying to get the answer. Does it happen to us sometimes? Yeah, of course. But here it is said that, if we just have complete faith that by rendering transcendental loving service to Krishna, automatically everything will be done. We just have to have this faith that, if I put Krishna first in my life, then he will help me. Of course, it doesn't mean that we can just lie down and Krishna will do everything. It's not that, but it means that if we prioritize Krishna in our life, if we really show that he is the most important in our life, then he will help us. He knows everything. So if we pray to him, Krishna, please help me to deal with this situation. What is the right thing to act? He will help us. He will guide us how we should act, and how to act in the most, in the easiest way, which is the least agitating for us, which takes least energy. But first we need to really show him that we are dependent on him. Just like Draupadi, when she was being disrobed, only when she completely put her hands up and said, Govinda, I ask you for help, and nobody else can help me, there's no one else. Then Krishna helped her, and her sari became immeasurable. It was so long that she could not be disrobed. So this is what it is in our life. What we have to do is put Krishna first in our lives. And how can we do that? Do you have any ideas? Maybe we can we get the mic? Maybe. So yes, so do you have any ideas? How can we put Krishna first in our life? How do we do that? To put him first. How do we show him that? Yes, I see. Chant, yes, exactly. Exactly, this is the most important thing. To chant first, before we do anything else, before we try to solve our problems, let's first chant. That is really perfect answer. Thank you very much. Anything else?
I know that anything you get or something like that, you offer it first.
Yeah.
So, because you understand that thing essentially belongs to you, it's all Krishna's.
That is really nice. Yes, so offer everything to Krishna, whatever we have, whatever we get, whatever we cook. Yes, Krishna says that whatever you eat, whatever activities you perform, whatever sacrifices you do, just offer it to me. And in that way we are showing Krishna that we're always thinking of him and we're always including him in our life. And he will reciprocate. He says that as you surrender to me, I reciprocate accordingly. Think about him. Yeah.
Yeah, so with problems or without problems. So when it's good and when it's bad.
Yeah.
All the time it will be the best.
Yeah, that's it. Exactly. So this is the golden rule of bhakti, isn't it? Always remember Krishna and never forget him, no matter what happens. Thank you very much. Yes. So that is one condition. And then the second condition to obtain this transcendental knowledge is to control the senses. Yeah, so controlling the senses, it's quite difficult because the senses, Arjuna says that to Krishna, this mind is so turbulent that it's more difficult to control this mind than to control the wind, and mind and the senses. This is so difficult to control, but actually we are quite lucky because in Krishna consciousness we have a wonderful way how we can control the senses. So how can we control the senses in Krishna consciousness? Does anyone know? You look like you know. Yeah. Yeah.
So the sense of taste, you can engage it by honoring prasadam. The sense of hearing, you can engage in hearing glorifications about Krishna, and so on and so on.
Yeah, exactly. That is perfect. And controlling the senses starts with controlling the tongue, like you mentioned. It says, Vacho vegam, manasa kroda vegam, jiva vegam, udaropashta vegam. Etan vegan yel vishaheta dira, sarvam apimam pritivim sashishyat. So Nectar of Devotion, text 1 says that if a sober person who can tolerate the urge to speak, the mind's demand, and so on, can Nectar of Instruction. Nectar of Instruction, yes, thank you. So if we control the senses, we can, it is said here that one can become a spiritual master. So this is the very, very important thing in life, to control the senses. And like you mentioned, it is said that to control the senses, we need to start with controlling the tongue. And controlling the tongue is in two ways. One is to chant, because one function of the tongue is to speak. So we engage this function of speech of the tongue by speaking about Krishna, by glorifying Krishna, by glorifying his devotee, and by chanting the holy name. And then the second function is to eat. And that we can do by prasadam. Yeah, so we take prasadam by offering food to Krishna and then taking his remnants. We are controlling the tongue. And when the tongue is controlled, then in due course of time all other senses will be controlled. Yes. Sattva? Sattvic. Yeah, sattva means goodness. So,
Yeah.
but actually even goodness is still material, you know,
Yeah.
like goodness means, yes, eating food which is healthy, which is vegetarian, but prasadam is even above goodness. It's transcendental. So that's why by having prasadam we are not getting any karma. We become purified from our karma. Cool. Yeah, thank you for mentioning that. Yeah, so Yeah, so what is said here that if we are faithful and if we can control our senses, then we will become eligible to achieve this transcendental knowledge. And if we achieve this transcendental knowledge, we will understand that I am not this body, I am the spirit soul. Then it says that he quickly attains the supreme spiritual peace. So peace, we will get peace. And why is it so important to be peaceful?
That's when gratitude comes in. Yeah,
So if we are peaceful, then we become grateful. Okay, yeah.
You feel gratitude, and I feel like gratitude is one of the most you know, because they say that there's different types of devotion you can get, or like connection with Krishna, and you know, there's like one that's, I don't know, it's a loving relationship. Then there's like another one that could be actually quite angry. Like I'm not exactly sure, but if you had like a grateful relationship with Krishna, I think it's like one of the sweetest. You know, it's like very, I don't know, something you get very rarely, and to have that, it's like a pearl, you know.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, this is very important to be grateful, because whatever we have comes from Krishna. That is very true. And Srila Prabhupada says that if there is no peace, there can no be happy. How can there be happiness? You know, if we are not peaceful, we cannot be happy. And everyone is looking for happiness after all. You know, everyone is searching for happiness. Everyone wants to be happy. But yeah, how can we achieve this peace now? In the material world, there's so many ways how one is trying to achieve the peace by having a good job, a good health, a good relationships. It seems like this will give me peace, you know, because I have all those things. But everyone knows, you know, in the back of the mind, we know that anytime we can lose these things. We can lose the job, we can lose the close ones, and our health can deteriorate any time. So, can it really bring peace if it's so, you know, so unsure and so temporary? We know that one day we will lose these things. So this can never bring us peace. And actually, if we understand that, okay, there is no peace in this material world, there is no peace, I cannot base my peace on this material situation, then we have to look for this peace and happiness somewhere else. And this is what Bhagavad Gita tells us, that if we have this transcendental knowledge, that will bring us complete peace, because we will understand that I'm not this body, and whatever happens to this body, it doesn't really happen to me. Nothing can happen to me. So this is completely, you know, it's at least for me, this is something I cannot even imagine how it is like to be completely peaceful, not to worry about anything. But today we are speaking about faith, and I have faith that one day, you know, hopefully by the mercy of Guru and the devotees, we will be able to really understand who we are. So this is what is important, to have faith. When we look at the purport, Srila Prabhupada says that such knowledge in Krishna consciousness can be achieved by a faithful person who believes firmly in Krishna. So what does it mean to believe firmly in Krishna? What does it mean for you to firmly believe in Krishna?
Have full trust, and like not need to rely on anyone or anything. Just like, yeah, and feel like Krishna's a shield in a way, you know.
Krishna is
a shield, a bubble, something to protect you, and like, you know, like Prahlad, right? That's a perfect example of full faith.
Yeah.
Like, doesn't matter what happened to Prahlad, he was just
exactly
praying all the time. Even if he had the most toxic family member, his father, it was constant.
Yeah.
And usually, especially back then, I imagine father figures were very big.
Mm.
And even then, Krishna was above that. So that was full faith.
Yes, yes. That is really good example, Prahlad Maharaj, who, just like him, he was put in so many difficult situations. Similarly, in our life, sometimes we are, when something good happens, then maybe it's easier to think, oh yes, Krishna is so merciful and he's there for me, he's doing that for me. But similarly, if we have faith, this firm faith in Krishna means that if something bad happens in my life, again, we have to remember that this is Krishna. It's him doing that to me. And for me personally, this means to always have faith that it's Krishna personally arranging this situation for me to learn something, and that I just have to, as much as I can, with a positive attitude, receive it and just have trust that he's doing it for me, because I really need to experience that. I really need to learn something from that. And even if I don't understand what I have to learn, I just have to go through it. And I pray for him to help me understand what I have to learn in this situation. Then Srila Prabhupada said that one is called a faithful man who thinks that simply by acting in Krishna consciousness, he can attain the highest perfection, simply by acting in Krishna consciousness. Is it so difficult to chant? Sometimes, maybe, if we don't have enough sleep or we are too tired. But in general, it's not difficult to chant. It's not difficult to sing Mahamantra. It's not difficult to dance for Krishna. It's not difficult to have prasadam. It's quite easy to do that. But the result is the highest perfection. So we can see that for actually, a little bit effort, but which is actually very joyful. Everyone is enjoying having prasadam. Everyone is enjoying kirtan and dancing. This is very pleasurable. We just have to do it. Sometimes, until we do it, we don't realize how pleasant it is. But as soon as we join dancing and singing with devotees, it's very enjoyable. And the result is highest perfection, means going back to Godhead. This is highest perfection, understanding who we really are. And this situation, ultimate goal, is situation when there is no more suffering, no more misery, no more hankering, no more birth, no more death, no more disease. This is the goal. And this state is attained by the discharge of devotional service and by chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So this faith is attained by the discharge of devotional service. Yes, we need to experience, then we believe. We don't want anyone just to blindly accept that, yes, this movement, that's it. But no, this is not what we want. We want everyone to experience really that it's working. Just like, but you have to have faith, some faith at the beginning. Just like when you go to the doctor, you are sick and you have to go to the doctor. You know that you cannot cure yourself. You need someone who knows something more. So you go to the doctor, you have some faith that he will cure you. You have also some doubts that, you don't know if it's a good doctor, but still you go. And then he gives you medicine. And then you start taking this medicine. And it's working, so you develop some faith. So you take more of this medicine, and it's working more. So you develop more faith. This is how you build your faith in this doctor, in this medicine. So similarly, in the devotional service, we have to take this medicine. Our disease is that we think we are this body, and our cure is Mahamantra, chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra, and other practices which we mentioned. And if we try that and we see that it's working, can you see, do you experience some that it is working, this chanting, this prasadam, it's working? Is it working? Yes, we can see it's working, and that's why we are continuing. That's why our faith grows. You know, we are experiencing ourselves. Yes.
Actually, I can say from my experience about faith, actually, it started at the beginning of my path with Krishna consciousness. So, and actually, Prabhupada said in one of the purports in Bhagavad Gita in chapter 9, which is the most confidential knowledge, that faith is the first principle and is the most important factor that we can progress in Krishna consciousness. And to have the faith in, as you said, in the bad times will keep us with him. I had also different, difficult situation. So only with faith I just survive.
Yeah.
And this is something we cannot describe, but give us strength. And we have to
Yeah, we have
to believe.
Yes, exactly. So gradually, you know, by experiencing that this is working a little bit, we become convinced, okay, then I can see this is working for me, so let me take more of this medicine. And like that our faith develops. Also it helps if we are associating with other devotees who are more advanced than us, and we can see that it is working for them, that they already have so much faith and they already have so much, you know, results. We can see how they are peaceful, how they are happy, and then we become convinced that okay, it is working, it's worked for them, so it has to work for me as well. And this is how faith develops. And it is said here that this Maha Mantra will cleanse us, our heart, of all material dirt. Because this material dirt in our heart, this material desires, material attachments, this is what really holds us back, you know, which doesn't allow us to surrender completely. But by chanting, it will gradually go. These material attachments, these material desires will go. And over and above this, one should control the senses. Like we mentioned, this is very, very important, to control the senses. A person who is faithful to Krishna and who controls the senses can easily attain perfection in the knowledge of Krishna consciousness without delay. Again, Srila Prabhupada says it's so easy, you know, can easily attain perfection in the knowledge of Krishna consciousness. So it's not that difficult. Anyone can do it, even a child can do it. Everyone can chant Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. And it is said that one can achieve this knowledge without delay. And this is really important point, without delay, because we really don't know how long we have, you know. This situation, this material situation, Srila Prabhupada says that this world is danger at every step. We don't know how long we have. And Parikshit Maharaj, he knew that he had 7 days to live, and he completely dedicated his time for hearing Srimad Bhagavatam. He didn't sleep, didn't eat, didn't drink. He just heard Srimad Bhagavatam because he knew this is the best way to spend the last few days of my life. But we don't know, so sometimes, you know, we think, oh, I have time, I will start when I'm 50 or 70, now I will have a good time, you know, I'm still young. But actually, no, we don't know really. Maybe this is the last day of my life, I don't know. And this is so important, you know, because this process can protect us from most dangerous type of fear, which is taking birth again. And we don't know which type of species will take birth in, whether it's insect or animal or a tree. So this is extremely important to take to this process. So because we're running out of time, so just to summarize what we spoke today, we spoke about faith, a actually we spoke about conditions, how to obtain this transcendental knowledge. We explained that this transcendental knowledge is to know that I am the spirit soul, to know that Krishna is God, and to know I am the servant of God. And we said that to achieve this knowledge, one needs to have faith, firm faith in Krishna, and one also has to be able to control the senses. And by being faithful and by controlling the senses, one will be able to achieve this supreme knowledge. And by achieving this supreme knowledge, one will become completely happy, completely peaceful first, and that will mean that one is completely happy. And we mentioned that to do it, to be able to control the senses, to be able to develop faith, we need to practice. We need to practice devotional service. So I hope that is of some help to all you. And if there are any questions or comments, please. Thank you. Please take one, please.
Thank you for the class. I was just thinking what your thoughts are on, as you said, that to start this process that we need to honor prasadam. That's where it begins, vachavekam, manasakrodavekam, jivavekam, and so on and so on. Then why is it that we still, maybe not you, but one of us still has desires, or sometimes occasionally wants to eat things that isn't prasadam, even though that we know that if we have prasadam, then it can lead to peaceful life, happiness, so on and so on.
Yeah, we have the knowledge, but still we have our material attachments. Like when you go to the doctor and he tells you, oh, you cannot eat this. It's quite difficult because we have attachments. And but this is okay, we just have to accept that we've been here in this material world for so many years, millions of years, and just this material attachment is very strong. But we just have to again have this faith that it will go. That just by sticking to having prasadam, and desires will always be there. That Srila Prabhupada says if we don't have desire, then we are not living anymore. And gradually this material desires will go. But we have to just see. It's difficult to give up something unless we have something some alternative, something which is better. And that's why it is not the way just to stop, to say I'm not going to have it anymore, but rather having something which is helpful for us and experiencing ourselves that actually, maybe just reflecting, how do I feel after having something which is not prasadam? How do I feel after that? Do I feel satisfied or do I feel disappointed with myself? And that will help, and then we will understand that actually what brings us more satisfaction is this. But of course it will take time for us to develop this higher taste. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
To continue on that point or question, I thought this might help. I was reading it through, and chapter 18, like something 36, I don't know, like point 38, yeah. It says, that which in the beginning may just be like poison, but the end is just like nectar, by which one to self-realization is said to be happiness in the mode of goodness. In the way to connect, you think like having other things outside, it's like your version of mode of goodness, but reality it's poison, and it's only up until you go through different stages, it's always a process that you're on where, okay, first you realize it's the poison, next the detachment from the poison, and then it's the feeling of neglect from that poison only to find the true happiness. And so as long as you're on that pathway of this understanding self-realization that it talks about here, once the self-realization to be happiness in the mode of goodness, you will achieve that goodness. It just takes time, persistence, and self-realization, that's all.
Yeah.
But apart from that, I got a question as well.
Yeah. Just one last point of that. So just to add to what you said, that that the more attachment we develop for Krishna, the more distasteful it will be for us to think even about having something which is not connected to Krishna. So that were nice.
It's like
points,
swinging from one vine to another. It just takes momentum and trust. That's one thing. But as long as you're on that path, then, Krishna is so merciful that he will let you, slowly melt away from that detachment like butter. I think it just takes time, that's all. But it talks about faith internally, such as like mental state, such as through understanding knowledge and controlling senses. But I was wondering, how would I, for example, keep faith externally within this corrupted world, for example? Like, how would I keep... Because, for example, here, I've got devotees association, I've got classes, I've got morning program, it's like, amazing. And I think many devotees relate to this. They go home or they go to society. It's like, how would one, just keep faith externally? So the presence of Krishna when all you're hearing is buses and shouting people and smell of cigarettes. It's like, where's Krishna?
Yeah, it's a good question. You want to answer, Asha? Okay.
I don't know if I answer. I'm not, a scholar. But what I was thinking, it's first of all to have contact with devotees still, even when you are outside. Now we have, so many electronic helpers, like, mobiles, laptops and so on, so you can be online. Now the word is going around with COVID online, somehow it's going on. So you can have contact like this, but what I was thinking also is to have determination. We was talking about it yesterday. So faith and endeavor with determination. This is one of the principles also, not to forget about always trying, always endeavoring, and with this strong feeling, and always you can contact devotees if you have some doubts, and it will help. I think it's maybe it will be not association if you don't have them around, but maybe somehow, this was my thoughts, but...
Association is the most important thing, really. And like you said, that these days is so easy. We don't even have to be physically together. We can be on Zoom or on the call. So many ways, to connect with devotees. And I was listening to one class by Kadamba Swami. He was speaking about how we just, to keep this faith, we just have to constantly hear, constantly chant. This is the only way. And especially when you are going out, when you are surrounded by the environment which is not not speaking about Krishna, then you have to do extra endeavor to, whenever you have some time, to try to connect again and try to connect with devotees, because that will always bring us back, devotees association is really, really precious. And discussing Shastra together, chanting whenever you can, just trying your best and trying to maybe even preach a little bit through prasadam, giving prasadam to others, and that will be very pleasing to Krishna.
Beautiful, thank you.
Thank you. Anything else? Yes, please.
It was something I was reading in Shuddha Bhakti Chintamani, and Shivaram Swami, he's going deeper into pure devotional service and pure faith. And he explains that what Srila Prabhupada has given us is pure devotional service, pure faith, and that it's very important, this seed that he's given us, that we nourish it, and also protect it from weeds in the form of anything that is against pure devotion. For instance, trying to enjoy this world, or seeking liberation, and so on and so on. And so he was explaining that the seed of bhakti gets nourished by hearing, association, and so on and so on. But at the same time, one should be also mindful and very, very careful that these other things don't get nourished as well. And I was just thinking, these things, these unwanted things get nourished when one, because at the end of the day, even a person who says he's atheistic, even they have faith in something. The fact that they, when they wake up, they have faith, conviction, confidence that they have a job to go to, that there's electricity in their house, that there's hot water, so on and so on. They have something, some sort of faith. So in a similar way is that one can take whatever faith they have, whatever convictions they have and confidence, and they can either put it into these into these weeds. They can either believe that, yes, if I accomplish this in my life, if I get this new iPhone or new computer, or if I get this recognition, I'll be happy.
Yeah.
If I get some sort of fame, it's called Pratishta. If I get some sort of fame by doing X, Y, Z, I'll be happy. So one can either take their faith and put it into that, or they can put it into Krishna consciousness, thinking that, yes, I must nourish this seed of bhakti by hearing and chanting. So that was one point. And the other thing I was just thinking about was, it's quite interesting that when you're outside, and it's definitely, it seems like it's easier to practice Krishna consciousness in the temple. There is that aspect. And sometimes it seems if you go away from a city and into the forest, into somewhere that's very peaceful and serene and tranquil, it makes it easier to practice Krishna consciousness. And I was just thinking, like the example of Bharat Maharaj, that he was in a forest, but yet he was trying to practice Krishna consciousness. He was trying to, he got to a very high state of perfection, but he still fell down, and it was because he didn't have that association. So even though the surroundings could be in the mode of goodness, so to speak, but still it doesn't mean that one would be more successful if they don't have that association. And like you were just saying,